Stephen Rowley says, next week I will be the expert on an episode of a well-known UK TV series. I have never been in front of a camera, and what I have to repair. Oh, are you on Repair Shop? Is almost second nature to me. So, as I've been doing it for 50 years, but the thought of being watched is worrying to me. Any advice? Yes. Okay, I have lots of advice. So, Stephen Rowley, you are going to be on an episode where you'll be doing a repair that you know in your bones. First up, I will say, and I say this to everybody who's doing any kind of public performance, you do not have to feel relaxed to appear relaxed. And I've just been talking about meditation. Meditation is one of the ways I learned how to quickly relax, because a lot of meditations are built off of a structure of like, pay attention to how your mouth is. Is it tense? Relax it. Is your neck tense? Relax it. Are your shoulders? Is your chest? Is your belly? Slowly moving down through your body, relaxing stuff in sequence. And the same goes for being on television. Your heart might be pounding in your head, but if you're making sure that you're not tensing any part, you're going to appear a lot more relaxed, and the audience will be with you much more on that front. You should realize that their edit might not be the idealized version of yourself that you think about. I remember doing a TV show with another host a few years back where at the edit, that host got angry, and the edit included them getting angry, and they wanted it removed, which was fine. We were working with a production company that was fine with that kind of request. But I said to the other host, I wouldn't do that. I think that this is an honest moment from you, and I feel like we should let our honest moments play themselves out. I have never shied away from on camera being venal, angry, impatient, testy, all of those things. They've all come about. But to me, that's sort of the contract. I feel like the performer has a contract with the audience to be truthful. And I don't think there's any version of myself that I have in my head that is better or more connecting with the audience than the actual version of me that exists with all of my warts. So recognize that they may not cut you as an idealized self, and that's just something you're going to have to live with. So relax about how the outcome comes out. And then the last thing I will say is, as to watch your takes, not all of them. And on a TV show like that, where the crews are moving around, that might be a difficult thing. I fully recognize that. But there is a huge amount of benefit to be gotten from doing a take to camera and then immediately watching it. And it could be something that you ask on the first thing in the morning, hey, just as we're getting started, within the first few minutes of shooting, I'd love to see a quick version of one of my takes, just 30 seconds of it to see how I move and stuff like that. I recommend that for all on-camera personalities, is to watch your takes almost daily. Not every take, but like when you're not sure how it's coming across, just watch that take. It gives you some perspective. Is that really? It's not showing up too much. Okay, great. Many makers and artists, Scott Kowalski says, many makers and artists fall into the trap of waiting to be inspired. Any thoughts on making or creating everyday objects regardless of inspiration? Well, there's always some inspiration. So first of all, I'm going to say this is hilarious because we've just been doing, they haven't come out yet. I've just been doing some advertising for a company that is just about this, about just starting. Not Rilke, Goethe has this beautiful quote that boldness has, whatever you can think of, just begin it. That boldness itself has genius, power, and magic in it. And that is totally true. I do wait to be inspired. I absolutely do, but I push it. I'm working on a costume right now that is not of anybody else's IP, and I'm going really slow, and I am just starting to note the pieces of this costume and how they'll fit together, what histories they'll have, what kind of different textures they will engender. But I know that it begins with the boots, that the boots are something I have a really clear vision of. So the boots is where I start. Once I have the boots, then I will take a picture of myself with the the head and the boots on and see about how this costume shape starts to look. And then I will know more about how the whole costume plays. But I always look for a thing that I want. Like, I was just watching I made new Wookiee feet for my Chewbacca costume a couple years back. We can include a link of it in the description. And I was watching it the other night because specifically, yeah, I forgot to mention this. I no longer have an eidetic photographic memory for everything I've built. I used to. Probably up until, honestly, up until 2010, maybe. Yeah, right around there. I still could remember like every detail of every decision I made while building stuff, and all of that is gone now. I watched the video of me making Wookiee feet wondering like, oh, I wonder what I'm gonna do next. Oh, that's a cool decision. So I am very grateful with the waning of my memory abilities, or the overloading. I just think it's too many memory cells filled with builds here, and we're just chucking material. It's really nice that we have this digital compendium of almost 8,000 videos that we've made on Tested over the past decade and a half. Shelton Jones, how much time do you spend actually creating versus managing your business? Do you wish you had more or less time? This goes excuse me. This goes back to the relationship between being a maker and a manager. Doing your making, your practice, and doing the things that support that practice. I'll be honest, most of my time is making, but that's also because the team that I work with is excellent and manages a lot of the managing the business. I always wish I had more time, but that's also just me thinking about retirement, thinking about like no longer traveling 75,000 flight miles a year to go do stuff, like dropping that to, it's 30,000 miles a year. That would be just fine. But the honest answer, Shelton Jones, is that the structure of this organization and my life right now is that I'm able to spend most of my time doing the making. I am not under the illusion that it will always be like that. I'm really enjoying this while it lasts and recognizing that all sorts of circumstances could change my reality in a heartbeat. But right now, it is most of the time it's able to be spent making and doing the fun stuff. Charles M. has a question about airplanes, and he says, I found a video that shows that United Airlines is, that's work that's happening up on my roof. You can just ignore it. United Airlines is planning on using a boarding method that me and Jamie and the crew tested on Mythbusters. Window, middle, then aisle seats. Window, middle, aisle is often referred to as Wilma. And we did test it on Mythbusters. We did a spectacular episode on airplane boarding. You should go see it. You can catch it either on Pluto or on Max. We hired these 5 amazing flight attendants from Southwest, these 5 women who had seen some nonsense. If you wanted to text Bobby, he'll be quiet. These flight attendants had seen some nonsense, and that episode was sort of just about a year before our producer, Yvette Solis, had wrangled a whole bunch of zombies for our first zombie episode. And it was the first time we had successfully been able to bring in a whole bunch of volunteers and get a lot of production value while also keeping, 150 people who'd visited the set fed, happy, in shade, healthy, etc., hydrated. So wrangling crews, wrangling large groups of volunteers was not a core competency when we started the show. But Yvette and that generation of producers really solidified how to manage people. And so as soon as we did that, we got to do airplane boarding. And I think we had like 220 people for 3 days testing that. Oh, you're wondering what's the best boarding method? Yeah, it's not Wilma. It's not windows, middle, aisle. It turns out that the best boarding method for an airplane is what Southwest is going to stop doing, which is random assignment, random boarding. Well, Southwest has never done random boarding. They do tiered boarding. If you want to board a plane the fastest way possible, there's no seat assignments, no seat preference, and everyone boards and just gets on. I think we were able to board in less than 6 or 7 minutes that way. But Americans, at least, hate that boarding method. And I think it's because of the psychology of scarcity that is deeply embedded in American culture. We hate seeing somebody else get something we think we didn't get. We hate someone cutting the line or the other line's moving faster. Just look into your soul. You know how much you hate that. So while random seat assignment, random boarding is the fastest, it is the lowest rated of all plane boarding, even though it is the fastest. I find that very entertaining. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I wanted to briefly mention that you could become a tested member. I know everybody is competing for you to become a member of their thing. What I want to express to you is that the tested membership has become such an important part of the tested family. We get tremendous feedback from the tested members, and they expand the stories that we can tell and the things that we have access to. And you can become a part of it right now by clicking on the link below. See you in the chat.